Are you struggling to make the money that you really want to make in your online business? If you are, you need to stay tuned because there's usually a really obvious reason why this is happening to you. And it's not one that you might think. It's certainly one that affected me. So I'm going to talk about why you might be actually sabotaging, standing in your own way of making the money that you say you really want in business. I'm Lisa Johnson. I'm a business strategist that helps entrepreneurs who are online to make more money in their business and to have more success. And the reason I started this is because when I started in business, I found things tough in the first couple of years when actually they don't have to be. Business isn't complicated. People make it complicated. So I'm here to help you through all of those wobbles you might have, all of those times that you might get stuck with your online business. So let's talk about why you might be self-sabotaging your own success when it comes to making money. You could be that person, like I was, that knows all of the strategy. You know, you've done all of the courses, you have learned every webinar, you've read every book, and you've done all of those things, and yet for some reason, you're still not making the money that other people are. You might be one of those people that are looking online and seeing people that started when you started, who seems to have just found it easier than you, seem to be attracting that money in, getting those clients that want to pay them, not having to consistently be out there constantly trying to get clients. It just seems to come to them more easily. There is a reason that this usually happens, and it was the same reason that it happened to me. And it's all about your thoughts around money. Now, if you've been watching me or watching my YouTube for any length of time, you will know I'm not the spiritual type. I have a lot of clients that are the spiritual type, but I generally am not. So I don't really think about things in the woo-woo sense of the world. I think about things in a real practical way. And because of this, when it came to money mindset, when I started learning about money mindset, I kind of dismissed it. It's like, well, this sounds like the law of attraction. I'm not really into the law of attraction, so I don't really want to learn about this side of things. And I kept stopping myself from making money. Now, in my life, I've had lots of different jobs. I've been an actress, I've worked in investment banking, I've worked in legal. I've done all of these different things that you would think would be able to make a lot of money. And yet I always seemed to make less than everybody else that I worked with. And when I went into my first business, which was a wedding planning business, the same thing happened. Everybody else who started the same time as me got the exact same amount of clients as me, and yet I wasn't making as much money as them, and I couldn't figure out why. I eventually became desperate enough to start listening to things about money mindset and realized that it was nothing to do with the spiritual side. It was nothing to do with the law of attraction. That's just one way that people kind of talk about it because it makes sense to their audience. But actually, if you don't believe, A, that money is a good thing, B, that you can get any money yourself, or C, that you will know what to do with it when you have it, you won't make that money because you won't put the actions in place that enable you to make that money. It seems obvious when you say it like that, but actually imagine it like this. Let's say you're going to do a launch. Now, you want to make £50,000 from this launch. You know that doing this launch, you're going to have to do some things that aren't very easy. You're going to have to maybe go live. Maybe you don't feel comfortable going live on things like Facebook. You're going to have to start doing things, knocking on doors, personal outreach, all the different things that we need to do to make a launch successful, to make that amount of money. That's great. If in the back of your head, if in your subconscious, you have a voice telling you there's no way that you're going to be able to make 50,000, then that's it. You won't be able to do it because you won't do the hard actions that you need to take if you don't believe that the reward is going to be there at the end. And that's what was happening to me. So let's talk about why it was happening to me. There are three reasons really that I didn't have my money mindset in the right place. The first one was I had a money story, and we all have a money story, that made me believe that money was a bad thing. And this is because I was brought up in poverty. We didn't have much money. And when I got a scholarship to a private school when I was 11, I got bullied for being poor. So my head immediately made this distinction between rich people and poor people. The rich people were the bad people who bullied the poor people who were the good people. which, as you can imagine, now as an adult, that's ridiculous. But in my head, that's the story that I told myself and that was going round. So if I believed that rich people were bad people, why did I want to be one of those people? So even though I'd be outwardly saying I want to make £1 million, in the back of my head, there was a little voice saying, but if you do, then you become one of those bad people. We have these little lines of thought that join up from all of the things that have happened to us in our past, from all of our experiences. They happen without us even knowing. So we have a story that we then start telling ourselves about what money actually means. You'll know this by things like the words that you attribute to money. So the word money itself. So for instance, if somebody says to you, oh, that's a really nice top, or that's a nice pair of shoes, they look really expensive, and your first thought is to go, oh, they were really cheap, they're on sale. That means that you have an emotion attached to money. You may feel guilt or shame about spending it. There's all these different emotions that you can attach to it. One of the ways to find out your money story is to sit down and have a real think about your earliest memories around money. Are they good or are they bad? One of my earliest memories is my parents arguing over money. Immediately that puts money in the negative side. Why would I want something that makes people fight? That's what my subconscious will see, even if I don't see it that way. I had a client that grew up with lots of money. So she said, well, my money story is good. I don't really see why I would be stopping myself from making money because I grew up with loads of money. So it doesn't make sense as to that's why I'm not making money in my business. And so we had a look into her money story. And I said, what's your earliest memories of with your parents, or earliest memories of your childhood? And she said, oh, well, I didn't really spend a lot of time with my parents. They were always working. Now, this client had a 3-year-old. And so in her head, what she'd done is decided that to make a lot of money, it means you have to always be working, which means she would be sacrificing time with her kid, which isn't what she wanted to do. And it was only when she realised that she had made that pattern in her head that she could change, because all patterns in our head can be changed. We can give it a different story. We don't have to keep continuing believing the same story as we're telling ourselves. That changed the game for her when she realised that she didn't have to sacrifice that time. And it was just her subconscious telling her that because of her own experience as a child. She started making more money because she started doing the actions needed, because we will easily stop ourselves doing the things needed. We know deep down we can make as much money as we want to. We know this because we see other people doing it. And if other people are doing it, we know there's no reason that we can't. So if we're not making that amount of money, but we believe we have all the strategy in place, we believe we know how to do it, we believe we're doing all the things, but it's still not happening for us, it's usually because we're actually self-sabotaging our ability to make that money without even knowing that we are. Once you've had a look at your money story, I want you to go on to step 2. Step 2 is your beliefs around money. The easiest way to start this is to write down the sentence, money is, and without trying to think about it, let's see what your subconscious throws up. So when I first did this task 6 years ago, somebody asked me to say, money is. What do you think I said? I said, money is evil. If I believe that money is evil, and that's what my subconscious is really saying, then why would I go out of my way to do the hard things that entrepreneurs need to do to make sure I get some of that money? I also believed that money was for people who are not like me. Seems a bit weird, but I believed that people from where I come from didn't make 6 or 7 figures. And I also was bankrupt at a really young age. In my early 20s, a judge said to me, you are bad with money. Now, why would I want something that has that negative connotation that I'm bad with? I will go out of my way not to have that. Even though I thought I was doing all of the things I should, subconsciously I was stopping myself from going the extra mile to make that money in case actually I was bad with the money. And it was through doing all of these different exercises, the beliefs in money, what my money story is, that made me realize that actually these were patterns and beliefs that I could change. And during the next session, I'm going to go through with you how you can change those beliefs, how you can make sure that you are bringing in the money. I'm going to talk to you as well about what practical things you need to be doing to make sure you're bringing in the money you need to. But for now, I'd love you to go and write your own money story. Come in to my Facebook group. I have a free Facebook group called That Strategy Group. Come into there and tell me what your money story is, what you think might be the reasons that you're self-sabotaging yourself from making the money you really want to. Because the more we can be open and discuss these things, the better it's going to be, because the taboo about money disappears. We'll carry on this money conversation in the next episode. So I will see you then. Have a great day.